All right, hi everyone. I'm Casey Uhlenhut. I'm a program manager on the .NET and Visual Studio team at Microsoft. Gave talk yesterday if you want to see other things that are going on in Visual Studio 2017. But today, I'm detouring from my usual talk where I say everything that's new, and I'm going to go what's like so old and that people keep asking for, and it's been there for years, and it just like breaks my heart. So we're going to go through all of those today. And hopefully, I'll have time for questions. If you have an urgent, burning question in the middle of it, feel free to ask it. I'll have to repeat it. There's also mics in between all the aisles. And all of these slides will be online, so you don't need to like furiously scribble down notes as we go. And hopefully, I'll either write a blog post or I'll make like a gist on GitHub or something with all of these on it as well. So for today, the first thing I'm going to talk about is performance tips and tricks. So a lot of people with large solutions have kind of iffy perf in Visual Studio, so we have different workarounds that I'll talk about with that. Then I'll do general tips and tricks for Visual Studio that's kind of language agnostic, and then I'll deep dive into .NET specific tips and tricks. So hopefully, I think most of you are .NET developers and not like C++, but there is some overlap, so excellent. All right, let's just go into the perf stuff. So the first thing with Visual Studio 2017 is that we have a new install experience. So how many of you are on Visual Studio 2017? By show of hands. Oh, yeah, OK, like most of you. Cool. So you all know about this. It actually was about to update on me, which is why I have a screenshot of it, because I was too afraid to install the new one right before a demo. But you can basically pick and choose everything you want to install. Hopefully, make your install size really small. If you select nothing, we actually give you a very basic like code editor with like TextMate as your like IntelliSense and things. So if you don't want to install anything on top, you can actually do that. The next thing is, also, Visual Studio 2017 works side by side. So if you have the RTM version, you can install the 15.3 version side by side, and it should work totally fine. And we also do that with all the previews as well. So like, for example, I'm like using a preview of like a Franken build that we have, and it's side by side with the actual Visual Studio 2017 RTM. And so you can now do all that side by side. That was like a big thing that we worked on in Visual Studio 2017. All right, so the next thing is, if you realize that you have a huge solution and Visual Studio is kind of slow, it might be because you have full solution analysis on. So if I come here, text editor, C#, advanced, there's this thing called full solution analysis. And so what this feature is it's super great because we're analyzing all of your code at once to see if any code change you make has an error in a different file that you're not in. But the downside is we're going over your entire solution all the time. So if you have a huge solution, we're constantly crawling over that with every code change you make. And it might be slowing you down. So what you can actually do is just uncheck this. And it should be unchecked by default, actually. And starting in Visual Studio 2015 Update 3, we turned it off. So if you want it to show you errors in all your files, you can turn it on. But that's one way that you might be having kind of slow experience inside of Visual Studio. The next thing, the way that you can see this, how it works is so if I have it on and do Control-WE, which will bring up my error list, you can see I have like 27 suggestions, 8 warnings, 3 errors. If I now go and actually turn this off, you'll just notice it's only analyzing my open files. So if I open this up, you can see that the number jumps down to 3 warnings down instead of 8. I only have 22 suggestions now, things like that. And so it's only going to affect your open files. So the more files you have open, the more analysis we're running over all those open files. So if you're only editing one file and you want to have faster performance, only have that one file open. Cool. The next thing that you might have noticed in that little window up here is we have this experimental checkbox, which I'm not sure if you all will have this yet, but I'm going to highlight it as something that we're working on right now, where we're trying to move a lot of code analysis actually out of the main Visual Studio process. And the real benefit of this is that it should never affect your typing latency now. So if we're like analyzing your code to put squiggles in there for where you have errors and warnings and suggestions, it should never impact your typing perf. And so that's something we're doing. And you'll notice, some of you, if you have the most recent stuff, you'll actually see in here, maybe, you'll see the process for it. Where is it? Let me turn this back on so it's taking more CPU and jumps higher. Let's see. Well, it should be called like CLR or something, and then when you right click on it, oh, here it is. Okay. So now if I look into this, it's called Roslyn Code Analysis, and so that's us running all this analysis out of the main Visual Studio process so that it's not impacting UI delays and things inside of Visual Studio. The next thing that we've done in Visual Studio 2017 is we have this thing called lightweight solution load. So if you go to projects and solutions, general, it's up here. And what this is basically a lazy loader. So if you have a solution with 100 projects and you're only ever working in one of them, like at a time, you don't want to have to pay the price of loading all 100 projects at once. So what it does is as soon as you expand something in Solution Explorer, it's just going to load that project. And all like refactorings and navigation should still work because we're going to load that like behind the scenes, but it's only going to have to pay the price of a single project at a time. And so by default, we have it, Visual Studio will choose what's best for you. So I think if you have over 20 projects, I think that's what we decided on, we'll turn it on by default for you. But if you don't like it or you want it all the time, you can choose to enable or disable it. And the other thing that you might have noticed in here, which is just a random tip and trick, but people keep on asking me about this track active item in Solution Explorer. People are like, oh, I wish that the file I was working on was highlighted in Solution Explorer. This is the option to turn that on. So if you like click this, which literally people talk about this all the time, then now you'll notice that it jumped to athlete up here. So if I like open up another file, the highlight moved again. You see? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so a lot of people ask for that, and we've had it forever. But that's where the option is hidden. So again, it's under Projects and Solutions, Track Active Item in Solution Explorer. All right. The question is, why is it not on by default? That was before my time, but I think it's because we did it and people didn't like it. And so if you are loud and complain a lot and get a ton of likes on developer community and stuff, we then listen to you all and turn it off. So, all right, so that was performance stuff. Here's the brief overview. Do we have any questions about the performance-related things? Cool. We'll move along then. Oh, wrong way. All right, okay, next. So people always say, look at all this real estate you're taking up in Visual Studio from my coding space. I just want to write code. I don't want to see all these other menus and other rigmarole, so like what can we do? All right, so here's basically how to maximize your coding space as much as possible. So you gotta like unpin everything. So if you don't know about pinning in Visual Studio, you can keep things open with this little pin tab. You can click it to make it disappear, but if you can see, it's like still here on the sides. You can do that. Oh, I turned line numbers off, but by default, line numbers are on. So that again is taking more code space. So to turn them off, we have this thing called Quick Launch, which for all of you who are like me and don't know where any setting lives, you can just start typing the name of it in here. It will help you. So like, for example, I'll just do line number. When I do that, it's like, oh, here is the setting in the page with line numbers. So I can just uncheck it. So I don't have line numbers anymore. Code lens, a lot of people, so code lens is really great. It like tells you how many references you have for every method. And also like I have it customized, so again, I can do Control-Q to go back up to this Quick Launch, and Quick Launch is up here, see? Type in code lens. And then you can see that I've customized my code lens to only show references, but you can show like test status, how many authors changed it, blah, 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 blah. And if you hate all of that because it takes vertical space in your editor, which a lot of people complain about, you can turn it off entirely. Now you'll see there's no extra vertical space added in. What else? There are margins. So for example, if I set a breakpoint in here, oh, well, not in here. Let's go in here. Set a breakpoint. There's this little margin over here on the side. Some people are like, more horizontal space lost. So if you want to get rid of that, that's possible. Just again, go to Quick Launch, type in margin, and then we have these things, the selection margin, indicator margin. If you hate that horizontal gray box that shows up where the current line is, you can also turn that off. You can turn off all these things. So just gotta guess where the option is though, which is why we have Quick Launch. And so now I got rid of those margins. So if you set a breakpoint now though, be warned that you won't see a little circle anywhere, but you can still set it, which F9 is how you toggle a breakpoint, on or off. Cool. And the last thing that you can do is full screen mode. Shift, Alt, Enter. And now, more space, woo! So that's how we get rid of a lot of the things on the sides. We can't entirely get rid of the main menu on the top, at least if we can. I haven't learned it yet, so if you know, let me know. But this is the way to maximize your coding space entirely. Now, you might be like, well, cool, but how do I actually navigate when I can't see Solution Explorer? Which I'm here to convert you off of Solution Explorer with Control-T instead. So Control-T lets you quickly navigate to any file, type, member, or symbol declaration from a single location. You can also filter them. So if you come up here, there's a little filter. So if you only want to look at files, types, whatever. We also have a little syntax for it. So if you're only looking at files, you can type F. You notice how the text at the top changed to go to files, types, members, symbols, etc. So if I'm only looking for files that we're testing it, they'll pull them up here. I can just go to it. If you need to go between tabs because you want to become not a mouse user, Control-Tab pulls up this thing, which not a lot of people knew. Oop. Gotta zoom in. Let's try that again. Oh, not in the center. Oh. Okay, whatever. But you can see that I can toggle between open files with Control-Tab. So that's another kind of navigation thing when you have everything gone to maximize your coding space. Any questions so far? And those of you who hate looking at white space, well, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Oh, no. But there's an extension that you can install to look at white space. We might build it in one day. But also, we can do view white space. Maybe. Come on, you could do it. Oh, maybe I'm turning it on and off. Control Q. I thought this was the name of the option. Ah, yes. And then you can see if you have spaces or tabs. But this is the only kind of viewing white space options we have for now. But you can file a bug or feature request by going to this little guy, send feedback. And this is the best way to complain to the Visual Studio team, by the way. Unless you know our specific GitHub, then go to one of these. And we look at these like every single day. So definitely the best way if you have feature requests or you want to report a problem, do it there. And so turn off white space. Just going to type it up here again. Get rid of it, hopefully. Maybe not. Whew. Okay. So that was how to maximize your coding space in Visual Studio. Is that something you all also feel like, or is that only the people I talk to that like that? Hopefully you all like that. Okay. Otherwise, here's what I just went over. All right, so the next thing is customizing this. So a lot of people don't like our default themes. Who'd have thunk? So I'm a light theme kind of person, but there's an extension that you can go to. Tools, so to get extensions, which are just add-ins that you can do off Visual Studio. They're pretty easy to build, actually. You just go to Extensions, and then you can search online in here, or go to the Marketplace to see them. Oh, I guess I should have hardwired into the internet. Bummer. Everyone, get off your phones. Come on. Well, anyways, if you go in here, there's a lot of extensions that you can look at. And so I already installed, thank goodness, the one that lets you change your themes, which I can show you here. So I just installed this one, Color Theme Editor. And we added more themes for you. And so you can come in here. And so what it does is it just adds this option to customize colors. I can click that. What color are we feeling? Dark, but can you see dark from there? You're like, you're supposedly not supposed to demo in dark. Let's do solarized dark because that seems cool. Maybe you can do it. Sorry, I have a Franken build, so maybe things won't work, but oh no. I knew I shouldn't have installed an extension. Okay, well, if you all can still read this, yeah, no. See, this is why you, it's probably good for your sanity, but not good for this demo, so we're just gonna go back to something like green. Apparently, this extension is a little slow on my machine. Okay, here we go. All right, so then if you're like, whoa, can you all even see these little gray lines? Okay, well, if you can barely see them, these are indent guides that you like see the structure of your code anywhere, so you can like hover over and see what other types and classes are in there. So you can go to Tools, Options, Environment, which also that extension plugs in here, so you can change your color theme directly from Tools, Options. But we have fonts and colors, which if you are brave enough to try to figure out what the name of the things are that you want to change, you can go here. So I always change, the theme changed my font size on you all. So I make 14 for demos. Selected text should be yellow in demos. Let's see, what else do I want to change? The other thing I like to change is we have this new feature called code suggestions, where it's like little gray dots inside the editor. But I argued really hard to make them pink, and I didn't win. But I did win that we made it an option. So instead of this gray, we're going to customize it and make it hot pink. And then those structure guidelines, those indent guides I was talking about, I think they're too hard to see when they're that light of gray, so we're just going to make them darker. And so you can just change all of your different things in here. So there's like tons of stuff you can change. If you want enums to be a different color, delegates, etc., if you all can see that. You can change the color of everything. And so now you'll notice that these indent guides are darker color. And if I scroll down to where the suggestions are, they're now pink and things like that. So if you want to customize your colors further, you can do it. It just might be hard to find the name of it, but trial and error is a great thing. All right, the last thing on this was, keyboards. So a lot of extensions like stomp on commands or like replace the commands that we have already, or sometimes like our remote settings come in and something will mess up. So the way that you can change things, or if you're like, why doesn't Visual Studio think my feature is important enough to have my favorite keyboard shortcut to it, you can now, you've always been able to change it. So you go to Keyboard under Environment, and then the trick to this is, say you want to like remap something to like Control T, you just type it in this little box down here, and it will tell you what it's used by already. So you can see all the things you're killing by taking it. I can choose the scope that it applies to. And then if you actually know the name of the command, so like if I want to do like Solution Explorer, you can see all the things the Solution Explorer in them, and then figure out what it was that you wanted in here. So like sync with active document might be pretty cool, and then give that a keyboard shortcut. So that's how you remap those. If you want to redo everything. Everything's just messed up. You just go to that import and export, and you can choose to reset all settings, which is super handy. You can also export your current settings. So like if you want your whole team to be on dark theme with enums orange and suggestions pink, you can like choose to only export those. So you come in here, uncheck everything, and then you just go into the options, environment, and then you only choose like, oh, I only want the fonts and colors to go, or I only want the keyboard settings to get sent and things like that. Cool. That was all. Oh, the other thing is, if you are coming from Java or IntelliJ, one of those things, different editor, or trying to get off of Sharper or something, the way that we can, we have a colleague who made this hotkeys extension to get all you Java people off Java to use Visual Studio. And so you can download this extension, and it's pretty good. It like remaps everything for you. And then you can choose what IntelliJ kind of thing you want. Cool. So that's an extension that you might want to write down if that's your case. Cool. What's next? Oh, navigation. OK. So I already went through some basic navigation with the Control-T, where I can open whatever files I want through this. So if I want files only, do that. If I want to go to this method, starts with tweet, do that, et cetera. If I want to go between files again that are open, Control-Tab. But what happens if I'm like, let me actually go back to that athlete part, and nope, actually I want to go to, oh, we also have camel case matching in here. So you can type like, I'm looking for distance workout, and so I can just type DW, and then we're gonna filter it by things that have the DW, so you can see it in there. So if I'm like, oh, the type, there you go, distance workout. So it turns out that I actually want to do a study when I'm doing all these workouts in this app to see if my hairstyle impacts my speed. Aerodynamics, if you would. Sorry, this is really bad. OK, so you saw I quickly navigated there with this. But then I'm like, if I actually change this constructor, how badly is it going to impact me? And so probably the only navigation commands you ever need to know besides Control-T and Control-Tab are the F12 family, as I like to call them. And it's basically everything has F12. This final references is F12. I don't know why. There's two key bindings to it, and I don't know why the context menu is picking this one, but it's Shift F12. But so there's Alt F12. It lets you peek definition. F12 lets you go to definition. Control F12 lets you go to implementation. And Shift F12 lets you final references. So if you just remember those four, that should get you through life entirely. But so like, if I want to see the implementations of workout, I come here. And in Visual Studio 2017, you'll notice we actually colorize this stuff, and you can group it if you want. This is not a good example, but here's that. If you go to implementation, there's only one implementation. We'll take you directly there. Let's see. But so I want to do the final references on here to see if I add this, how much it's going to mess up. Only used it 4 times. You can group it by definition, project, so definition, then path. So however you want to look at it, you can group it. You can also lock your results, which is clutch. People ask us all the time. So normally if you do a final references or any navigation that uses a search window, it'll replace what was whatever was there previously. And so we added this nice little keep results lock so that if you do another final references, like here, it'll just go into a new final reference. I can still go back to my distance workout ones. So clutch. Yeah, so anyways, if I want to add this in, I can just add this in, hairstyle. And then you'll notice in Visual Studio 2017, we're actually going to offer names for you in IntelliSense. So we have like smart variable naming. So it's like, oh, this parameter is hairstyle. You probably want to give it one of these names. It's accurate enough. And so I can just automatically do that. We also in the future release, or future version, we use the humanizer NuGet package, which pluralizes things. And so now if I have multiple hairstyles as I'm running, because, oh no, I must have killed the extension. I had an experimental v6. But this would offer hairstyles then and things like that. But looks like the theme editor might have killed that. All right, anyways. Also,
it might be because your list wasn't recognized at the time.
oh, I don't even have list imported. Maybe. Let's see. Yup. Good call. Hairstyle. Who doesn't ever have collections generic in every file? Come on, it should be there by default, right? Yeah, I know, sorry. Report a problem, right? So now you can see it pluralized, all of these. So styles, let's go with that. Yeah, and so once I do that, then you can do, I can do control dot, and then it'll offer, so yeah, control dot is, by the way, like the best thing ever in Visual Studio, where it gives you any code action that's available or refactoring. So here I did control dot, and it's like, oh, you should create and initialize this property, which I should. And then I can do control dot again, and it's going to offer to add a null check for me as well. And so I didn't have to move my cursor at all, and it added these things for me. Ooh, well, also, the thing that happens if you do something and you hate it, you can go to Team Explorer, and then right-click, and undo all the changes you just made before your last commit, which is pretty clutch. So, psych, I didn't want to add that anyways. And there you have it. Also, in Visual Studio 2017, 15.4, maybe 15.5, we've added control click. So if you all use productivity power tools, we're like slowly moving everything into the product. So that's where you probably see these structure guides from before. But now I can also hold control and navigate to definition with that. So if you do have your hand on the mouse as you're like debugging, and you just want to like quickly go to definition, you don't want to take your hand off the mouse, hit F12 and go there, you can just hit control and click, and it'll take you right there. What else in navigation am I missing? Definition. Oh, you can, so like no one really knows about these, but there's this like kind of like browsery looking buttons. And these let you navigate forwards and backwards from where you just were. So I actually forgot, it's control, yeah, it's control minus. So if I want to go back to where I was in distance workout, I can do that, or, oh, I thought that was forward. Oh, it's shift minus, control shift minus, backwards. And so you can just keep going backwards to where you came from. So if you did one of those things where you're debugging and you keep going to definition, go to definition, go to definition, and you want to go back, but you don't remember how you got there in the first place, you can just control minus, control minus, control minus, control minus, and it'll take you back. What was that?
Mouse side keys also work.
Oh, the mouse side keys also work with that, apparently. I just use a trackpad. We don't have that. All right. So any questions on any of the navigation stuff I just showed? It should work with C++, Visual Basic, C#. Okay. Oh yeah, so here's the F12 family, like written. Oh, also, sorry, I put things in green that were new-ish in Visual Studio. So if you're like, oh, why didn't I know about that? You can like feel a little better about yourself if they're new. Yeah. The question is, did we get rid of control comma? And so the go to all feature that I showed you was previously known as navigate to, and you triggered it with control comma. Still triggers with control comma. Yeah. So it's control T now or control comma. Cool. Oh yeah, so I kind of just like did some source control things and didn't explain anything. Let's make some changes now. Okay, so instead, I'll just go through some basic text manipulation. So if you were at my talk yesterday, I showed you briefly pattern matching, where you can now check both the type and the value of an expression. So I'm just going to like quickly just apply these things. Oh. Maybe, no. Where is my option to, oh yeah, it's inline temporary variable. No, okay, tools, options. Apparently doing tools options, or changing my text environment changed all my defaults. So I guess be aware if you put in that theme. But so, anyways, I guess I'll just detour and show you all the different, text editor, C#. We have, so all those pink dots that you're seeing are code suggestions that we've put in. And so if you go to tools, options, then there's this code style thing. And it's only for C# and VB right now, so skipping ahead to .NET only right now. But we have options for new language features. So there should be something in here about using pattern matching. Oh, it's on. Interesting. Well, that's a bummer. What I was going to show is that in order to make things into pattern matching, it involves a lot of like selecting a lot of stuff to the left and deleting. So the way they can do that is box selection, which no one knows about this, but it's the best. It's Alt-Shift, and then you just like click somewhere. And so if that worked, then you could just go woohoo and delete a bunch of stuff, but like do that, but it's not gonna work. And also if you're like a Sublime user, we don't have like the Control D, which is a bummer, where it like selects all the line, but you can like just make a tiny box. So you can do Shift Alt drag, and then you can like, do tab, or undo it to move everything in the line. And then if I do have end, and then you can go to the end, and it should do, nope, I guess it doesn't work like that. But yeah, okay. Oh, it's probably because I have an error in here. Ugh, bummer. Okay, if you have, so if you do a lot of merging on the command line, you probably have a lot of merge conflicts in here. We added a quick fix in here to actually get rid of this. So you can take the head, the upstream, so you can choose which change you want to take, or both, and commit them. So now it might have appeared. Nope. Well, anyways. So with source control, so I made a brief edit. So I don't know how many of you have ever looked down here, but we've now added like these little quick go-to actions for source control. So I can see what repository I'm in. I can change my repo by just clicking on it. I have branches in here. So for all my demos, I'm like, oh, create a new branch of this demo. New one. And so you can change all your branches. You can view your history, which you can see my really bad commits titles in here. Tweaks. Very informative. You can click the pencil, and that shows you all the changes that you've made since the last commit you made. And these are all my pending commits that I haven't pushed yet. So, and if you just click any of these, it'll bring up Team Explorer. It's what you need to do. So I could like commit my stuff in here, save it, and then I can go to view history, and then you'll see I'm now at garbage, and I can just, decide, psych, don't want that, and you can reset hard from right in here without having to go to the command line at all. So that might be how I do every single demo. Cool. And so now again, you can see I have no uncommitted changes, and etc. Cool.
By changing that to pink, did that change your, on the right-hand side, did it change the little boxes that are?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you skipped ahead. Okay, so you may have noticed in the scroll bar, we actually mark where things are. So like the blue line is where you currently are. So it's like kind of like a map of your file. Green square is where warnings are. Red, which you can't really tell this one's red, but it is where an error is. This little dark one is a breakpoint. And the pink is because I changed my suggestion ellipsis to pink. And so that's where all suggestions are available. So if you scroll up to this one, for example, you can see the pink ones here and down here. Yeah. Oh, I uncommitted this. And so if you change the color, it changes the things in there. Side note, we have scroll bar options. So if you hate seeing all that, you can turn it off. So never show these. Or you can go map mode if you want to get really intense, and that'll show you like an actual map of your code. You can be like, whoa. So a lot of people like that. I personally don't, but it's an option. All right, so that was source. Does anyone have any other questions about Team Explorer or something that you think I missed? Those were like the main things when I like talk to people, what they use. Undo changes is number one, though. Okay, let's get into this part. Let's see if going back to my normal theme makes things better. No. Well, we'll just semi-go into pattern matching. So now, so again, the box selection, I'm just going to try this again. Actually, let's not even. Who cares? Let's just keep on going. So if you want to comment things out, like, oops, this was like not a good idea, we have very unintuitive commenting shortcuts. But I have a trick for you guys. My name is Casey, and the keyboard shortcut is K and then C. Casey, haha. And to uncomment is KU, which are my initials, Casey Uhlenhout. Anyone comment? I swear it wasn't my idea. It's just how I remember it. So it's like KC comments, KU, awesome, uncomment. So now you might not forget it. You can also go to that keyboard thing and rebind those if you hate those shortcuts for it. A cool one that will eventually become obsolete because we're going to actually make duplicate text a thing. You can do Control-L, which will cut the current line, and then you can paste it so you can like duplicate it. So yeah, so like if I want to make another case in here, oops, cursor's in the wrong spot. So I can do Control-L, paste it back, come down here, and put it in here, then like Control this line, paste it, come down here, and do it again. So now I've made another case. So that's something you can do as well. Just duplicate things. That's one that we are going to have duplicate text, which will just be, hopefully, I forget what we're deciding the keyboard shortcut is, but then it'll do that without actually cutting the line. You can just click whatever the keyboard shortcut is, and it'll duplicate that line. So that's like a big one people have asked for. And let's see. Oh, if I want to move this entire case, Alt up and down, like move entire segments of code. So pretty handy dandy. And so if you're cutting and pasting a lot, you can just move lines up. So for example, if I want to use a local function, this is a local function, I want to embed it in the method above it, I can just do Alt up, and now it's inside. And then I can use Control delete will delete forwards, and then if I did it the other way, like Control backspace, it'll delete the entire word before. So that's cool little trick. So again, I can come in here, like Control backspace, kill it all. Oops, probably shouldn't say that. There you go. And now I've moved a bunch of stuff in there. So if you do use a C# feature that's not actually like supported by your project, we'll let you know. So you can see here, oh, I used local functions, but my project is targeting C#6. So we actually offer to update your project for you. So I can change my language version for all my projects to C#7. Oh, that's why pattern matching was, oh God, guys. That's why. I got it. My project was, okay. Anyway, so now that I know that, I'm just gonna come in here and be like, psych, undo. Which, Team Explorer for the win. Oh, I said I always forget that this one's in there. And so now it's gonna offer pattern matching. Nope. No. Ha. Oh, I changed the language version. You all just saving me. All right, so the other way you can do it, right-click, Properties, go to Build, Advanced, because who knew to scroll all the way to the bottom, and then the language version is in here. By default, it's the latest major version. So now with C# we have actually minor versions, so 7.1 came out with 15.3, 7.2 will be coming out soon. We might have a 7.3, but we're not actually going to opt you into those unless you say that you want to. So you can opt into the latest minor if you want, but by default, it's the latest major. Okay, last time, I swear. Yay! Okay, so yeah, the flow of what was supposed to happen was do all this. Nope. And then you could select all the today's workout things, making cases and stuff like that, but I won't bore you. Okay. I think that was all the text manipulation. Yeah. Oh, Shift-Enter. Do you all know about Shift-Enter? Oh, I just learned about it before I did this talk on accident, and I got so excited. If your cursor is like in the middle of something, and you want to get to the, put a new line, you can just do Shift-Enter, and it puts you in the new line. It's like, holy mackerel. I know, who knew? Oh, I was so excited. So many new lines. All right. Oh, good thing I went back on that one. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. IntelliSense.
Non sequitur.
Yeah.
I like the dollar operator to replace the string.format. I haven't figured out how to get that on multiple lines.
What part on multiple lines?
Well, just kind of split it up.
Oh, okay. So okay. Non sequitur. String interpolation. Okay. So let's find where I did it. So okay. First of all, if you have an if statement like this, and you're like, ooh, I hate braces, woohoo. But if you're like, oh, I actually need to make this multi-line, Control dot, add braces. And now I can come down in here. Yeah, someone's excited. All right. So now single click got these added in. So whatever, let's do string.format. Oh, hello. Oh, this is so hard. Okay, what are we gonna do? Let's do MS Ignite and, I don't know, 2017. Okay, so I can come in here. Also, pro tip, select this, introduce constant or local, sure. Local automatically puts me in a rename, just call this year. Then select this as well. Say, make it a local. Call this conference. Yeah, string.format. This is going to tell me now I can use interpolated string instead, because it's superior, in my opinion. It's easier to read and less likely to make a mistake. And then you want to know how to, I guess the question was from string interpolation, how do you break it up over multiple lines? You should just be able to click enter and we put in a plus for you. You might have to reformat it however you want. But yeah, if you click enter in the middle of a string, we automatically concatenate it for you, like that.
I was hoping there was something a little more. Okay, that works.
I'm sorry. Report a problem. Report a problem.
So if that's happening, is that actually creating two separate strings and then concatenating those?
So it's how's this actually working behind the scenes? I believe, yeah, it actually is making it into two strings and concatenating them.
That would be a huge performance hit then if I did it that way, as opposed to having one horribly long line. Right, I could do that with string.format, but I don't like string.format anymore.
Right. Good question. I'll have to look into that and see if that's what we're actually doing there, or if we're just making this a convenience thing and it's not real. I would think for string interpolation that we actually optimize this, so that while it shows up as concatenation, we're actually putting it together, but I don't actually totally know the answer to that, so I'll look that up for you. Okay. Where was I? Oh, IntelliSense, that's what I was trying to do. So as I was typing in here, so let's say, let's do a new thing. Oh, let's just say, okay. I want to do today's workout, which also for pattern matching, and I don't have pattern, I don't have the actual switch here. But so say today's workout dot, and say that I wanted to see what's under this stuff, you can hold control and it goes invisible. So if you're, I don't know, like editing a block of code and you need to see what's underneath it, but you can't, just hold control and it makes it invisible. Yeah, so duration, I don't know, greater than time span. And also, did I ever talk about IntelliSense filters? So you may have noticed like IntelliSense has all these icons on the bottom now that let you filter. And so you're like, oh, I'm only looking for, well, no properties. Oh, apparently that's a bug. Control space brings up IntelliSense again if you lose it. So I lost it here, so control space will bring it back up. You'll notice that time, which is my current search term, is bolded everywhere in the list now. And then there's these icons, so like, oh, I'm only looking at classes. Then you can filter to only classes, et cetera. And there's little keyboard shortcuts for all of these that make sense, like classes is Alt-C, interfaces, Alt-I, properties, Alt-P. So they make sense so that you can just quickly do them or not. Yeah, okay. So got that. If you hate the new IntelliSense stuff, we have options. So if this brings up, oh, I guess it's not going to. Options, C#, advanced, nope. Is it general? Oh, there it is. Oh, I can read. So you can choose if you don't like the bolding, you can unbold it. If you don't like the filters, you can get rid of them. Also, are any of you mixed C# VB developers? Ah, excellent. Do you get really tripped up by clicking enter in IntelliSense and VB and it like inserts a new line instead of, wait, I think it's that way, instead of committing? Anyways, Visual Basic has different enter behavior than C#, and you can change the options in here to make them the same. So if you keep hitting enter on accident in VB, you can now change it to actually match it. I don't know, that part drives me insane, but cool. All right, so that's everything with IntelliSense. Yeah, question?
In IntelliSense, when it shows you, when you start writing, using a function, it tells you the different interfaces for that function. Is there a way, a keyboard shortcut to cycle up and down that list?
So the question is, when you get the completion list in IntelliSense, is there a way to like cycle up and down on the list, right? So you're saying, so you just mean like saying, like you mean going up and down like this?
No, I mean when you're calling a function, and there's 12 different versions of that function you call.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I missed that part. Okay, so the K family of commands, which I'll show you real quick, because it's probably easier to see. So again, K for Casey. We have control K, and so parameter info shows you where, like the different parameter information. Quick info is like the same as hovering, but if you're a keyboard user, you just do control I to see that, and then control L will list the members. So those are different things you can see there. And then, so what you want to do is, let's call a method. So. Oh, I don't have any overloads with this. Where do I have any method that has those? Ooh, I don't think I do. Oh, okay. So, okay, so he's talking about this where we have 7 overloads in here, and you want to be able to like, what is the behavior you want? You want to cycle through them?
Down through keyboard shortcuts. Every time I try to get my mouse over, those little arrows disappear.
So if you put in the parentheses, we let you cycle through them like this. Is that what you're asking about?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the problem is if you just put this and you want to see the different overloads, you can't. But if you put in these, then you should be able to use.
What keyboard key are you using?
I'm using the up and down arrow. Sorry. I'm really sad that that wasn't,
So I've noticed
people had to ask.
that using that it will, once I've got values in there, it won't let me scroll anymore.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, why do you have to call these things out, people? So the question is, so once I have this, and let's say that I put like a string in here, oh, but hey, oh, but then put this in, it should still work. I think the problem is that we don't actually filter it down to only be the valid ones. Like, this one should not show up because that empty string is clearly not a provider.
So what the behavior I've seen is it only works if you don't have the last one in there. So if I still have, like if I filled them all out and I need to see the other overloads, I can't do that anymore.
I see.
Right, you have to delete something and then go back and then put a comma and then you can see it again.
Go back to enter another parenthesis. Next to the first one. It'll both.
Wait, what do you want me to do? This? That does. But yes, I see what you're saying though. Is like if the string out format has too many things. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so you should be able to do Control KP, which will bring up the parameter info no matter where you are. So I'm in string.format, and then if I do Control KP, then it brings this up, and I can go through.
Okay.
Yeah, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Cool. Oh, debugging. So before I do debugging, briefly going to show live unit testing, which I might have killed a lot of things with edits. But so what live unit testing is it's for enterprise only in Visual Studio 2017, where we're going to basically figure out which unit tests you have are impacted by your code changes, running just those unit tests, and then updating these icons in line that you see on the left-hand side to let you know the status of your code. So like a red X means this line is hit by at least one failing test. So you can see there's one failing test. Green check means covered by all passing. And blue dash means it's not covered by any test at all. So if I come here, covered by 0 tests. And so what I can do is click to navigate to the test that's failing. And then we have these little beaker icons to show you which tests are always running live. So if you're like, ooh, this test for some reason is really slow, you can actually choose to exclude it. And then it'll be an empty beaker, which means it won't be running anymore. But if I don't know why this is failing, I can debug, which you right-click for MS Test and just click Debug Test to run this specific one. To debug in general, F5. Control F5 runs your app. And so I think Casey Anderson and Nikhil had a big debugging session yesterday, so if you want to learn like the full extent of what you can do with debugging, definitely go check out that one. But I'm just going to show the basics, which apparently a lot of people don't know about debug stepping, at least according to telemetry. So I'll briefly go over that. So debug stepping is just, okay, come on. So these little things up here let you step into a method, over, or into an expression, over an expression, or get out of one. It's also just F10, F11, which if you remember earlier, F9 was toggle breakpoint. So F9, 10, 11 are like your debugging go-tos. And so I can step, 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 step. It will just take me through each line. Oh, I stepped into. Okay. You can hover over to see things. You can pin them down. A new feature that we've added is this green little play button, which is run to click. So if you don't want to keep stepping, you're like, oh, take me to this line already. Then you just come down here and click it, and it'll execute to that line. Since I've done that, though, I've thrown an exception. This is the new exception helper, where we're going to say, oh, you've thrown a null reference exception, which is great, except that all I really want to know is what's null. And so now we actually tell you exactly what's null at the top level. So you don't have to debug again. Yeah. And if you'll notice here, this is actually a dotted chain of expressions. So today's workout or notes could have been the null one here. And we're actually going to tell you it's specifically the notes expression that was null. Yeah, we have a question.
This is awesome, but if you give a little icon to add the null check right there.
I see. Yeah, so the thing is like, great, now go the step further. You told me it's null, now add the null check for me automatically. You all don't ask for too much. Instead, I'm sorry, you have to click control dot navigate there, come in here, add the null check. But yes, I agree, it would be nice if we did auto add null check for you. And so now you can see that live unit testing actually updated and let me know that everything's passing now that I added that. If you
We have automatic null checking if we have a break on it. So the performance test or a unit test automatically adds it.
Sorry, what was that question?
If you can, on the breakpoint or on the exception, if you can say automatically add null handling, why can't we just do it automatically?
So the question is, do we have?
Step even further.
Yeah. So the question is, can we go a step further and have it so it automatically breaks when it's null and things like that? But we don't quite have that. I need to put my debugging margins back in. Margin. Put these back. I don't know why that is taking time. Ugh. Ay, ay, ay. Ooh, yeah, see, one of these extensions I installed is killing my VS. But anyways, a cool thing that you can do is add a conditional breakpoint, by the way. So you can come in here, right-click on click a little gear next to your breakpoint, and then you can choose expressions that you want to break on, which is nifty. But I'm going to switch gears and show you a cool cloud debugging trick by switching repos, by going down to Team Explorer again. Yeah. Oh, wrong one. So a lot of people don't know about this thing called Cloud Explorer, which lets you actually see all your different app services and stuff that you're using in Azure. Oh no, the internet. Okay. So you can see here I have this one, and then hopefully this will work, but I'm going to, you can just click attach debugger, and it's going to basically run, like take my live app, and then I can hit a breakpoint as it's running. So this is my published app. Oh, no, I should have hardwired in.
So what happens if you're on a really slow connection and you do that? Is it kill your site?
No, it should be okay, I think. We should be smart about things, but okay, this might not work. But anyways, you can click attach debugger here, and it will attach it. I've probably now just killed everything. Okay. We're going to go back. But that's how you do cloud debugging if you wanted to do it. Cloud Explorer, who knew? Oh, I didn't show this, but step into specific, if you see that on there, if you have like an if where you're calling two methods, it's like if you validated this thing and you validated this thing, you can actually do step into specific, so it's Shift-Alt-F11, or you just right-click and say step into specific, and it'll actually, you can choose which method you want to actually debug into rather than the first one. And then, yeah, link and lambdas, you can actually debug those in the watch window. So you can like type in a lambda or a link expression in there, and it actually works. But Casey's Anderson session has a lot more on that. Oh. The other thing with live unit testing, so if I come back in here, so you can see that live unit testing, I had it on before I moved, but now it's off again. That's actually because there's a setting, and so you have to come in here and say, oh, I want to start live unit testing on solution load and check that. You can also say, hey, if my battery is below 30% or whatever percent you want, don't actually run live unit testing anymore. But it is running in that external process that I pointed out earlier, so it shouldn't take up too much battery. Oh, okay, code analysis. So again, Control WE opens up error list, which the way to remember that is Control W is like window, and then which window? The error list window, so WE, window error list. Okay, anyways. So you'll see there's a lot of messages in here. A lot of people don't know that you can just be like, I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to say suppress you all. And so you can suppress them all in a global suppression file, or you can suppress them in source with pragmas, but most people prefer a global suppression file, and then it will get rid of all of them, hopefully. So you can see the global suppression files here. Now it's suppressing all these, so I'm going to come back to the error list. Maybe not. Oh, there you go. Updated. And so now all those messages and suggestions are gone because I said, oh, I don't want them anymore. It does travel in this file, though, so if you suppress them and you're on a shared code base, you're suppressing them for everyone. The other thing is this code style stuff I've been talking about, so let's kill this file. Team Explorer. Anyways, come up here. Delete this file.
If you're using Git, you could just exclude that file.
Yes, I can also exclude it if I want. Guess I shouldn't have used the same Visual Studio as the other demos. Okay, oh, Cloud Explorer. Oh, it finally got up to debugging it. The internet here is not very great. Okay, I want to kill everything. All right. I apologize. Thank you for your patience. Let's just kill this. Kill the whole thing. Oh, we have 10 minutes left. Come on. Okay. So coming back here. Come back to these. I can just click delete. Why not? All right. So you may have noticed like all the code suggestions again that are coming in here, which don't know why those settings didn't save. But anyways, so you'll notice that if all right, so the way that I did that before I showed you was in Tools, Options, and there was those code style options. So you can also just type up here, by the way. Nope. Code style, and they'll filter it down. So there we go there. So that we have all these settings. I can choose naming rules if I want. So have custom naming rules in here. So methods should all be Pascal case, et cetera, et cetera. If you want different code style settings for different projects, or you want the code style settings to be shared across your team, right now if you use tools options, you'd have to do that export settings and share that settings file, and it wouldn't travel with your source. But we have something called editor config now that allows you to basically codify your conventions in a text file. And so you can say your indent thing, we extended it to now work with .NET code style. So you can say, for example, var. Never prefer var, and if they use var, mark it as a suggestion in the editor to use it. Use explicit type instead. And so you can do that. And you'll notice that this is a solution item, so it's in my solution directory. So it applies to all projects in that solution. But if I'm like, hey, unit tests should be able to, I don't care if they use var at all, as long as they're writing tests, you can come in here, and I have the editor config language services extension installed that Mads K wrote. You all probably know Mads K and all his extensions. So he wrote one for this, and so I can just come in here, copy this, and if I want to just overwrite that setting, I just come in here, and I say true, true, true. And then you can choose, again, if you want it to, if you want none, so if you don't want any text decoration in the editor, you can just say none. If you want it to be a suggestion, if you violate this rule, you can put that in, a warning or an error. And so if we really don't care what people use, as long as they're writing tests, we can just put none. Also, do you all know about this? You can do close all but this, or close all. So I'm like, whew. So with editor config currently, if you have any open files when you change your editor config file, the new changes won't be applied to it. So I have to close them all first. But you'll also notice Mads K's extension tells you that this editor config is inheriting a bunch of rules from a different editor config, which is true, because we just overrode the var ones. So now, if I open up the athlete file and I open up my test athlete file, you'll notice that an athlete, which is in the bike training one, will have vars marked, because that's what that editor config said, but I overwrote them in this one. And so there's nothing under the vars here. So there's nothing telling me to use explicit type. Whereas here, there were. So that's how you can use editor config to basically codify all your team's conventions, and it's just a source file. So you can see it's right in here. And so it travels with your entire code base. So check it into your repo, and then anyone that clones it or pulls down from it that gets it will have all these things enforced inside the editor in Visual Studio. Eventually, it'll work on the command line, so you'll be able to integrate it through CI, but that's coming soon. The other thing is, if you're like, I like all these suggestions, but I want more, you can get them as extensions or as NuGet packages. So they're called Roslyn analyzers. And so you can just type in analyzer. Oh, internet. So go to online. Oh, it's not going to work. Well, in there, you can just type analyzers, and let's see if the internet works. OK, I give up. But you can type it in there, and it'll actually, you can see all the different Roslyn analyzer extensions that people have written that do hundreds of refactorings and hundreds of different code inspections that you could want. So you can actually download those and get extra ones if you want. OK, quickly, I'll just try in the last 3 minutes to go through the most common refactorings and quick fixes people ask for in Visual Studio that are already there. So if I come in here, I could take a bunch of stuff, grab a code snippet and press Control, grab a code snippet. Nope, sorry. Oh, yeah, OK, sorry. OK, this makes more sense. And I can extract a method So you just select something that can actually return something. That was my problem before. And it'll now offer to extract as a method. If I do that, we drop you in a inline rename session, so you can name the method whatever you want, because we'll default to a new method, but we don't actually know what you want to call it. So you can just call it like build message. You can also rename with Control RR. So like control message. Oh. We also, so say I wanted to call it tweetify, but I already have a method called tweetify. We actually do, we tell you have a conflict. And we'll also do conflict resolution if you want to, but this one has unresolvable conflicts, so. Yeah, F2 also works for rename. I already showed you the inline temporary variable one, so let's see here. I can inline random in here if I wanted. I can also extract things as local variables, so I do this hashtag.length. I can just make it a local right here. And again, we'll try to guess a good name for it. If we can't, we always drop you in a rename session just in case. So let's go in here. So using the indent guides, I can hover over and see that I have actually 2 classes in here. I have the class athlete and this class Twitter handle. You can, again, control dot. And at the very bottom, we'll offer to move this type to a file with the same name. So if you believe all your classes should be in their own files, you can now just come here and do that. And I'll move it. And we did that in the distance workout file too, right? There was the hair. So we have an enum, and if you want this enum in its own file, you can do the same thing, move the type. Oh, and we also are now, I forgot, I had these bits. So coming soon, you'll be able to add accessibility modifiers to things like we have here.
When it moves it to another file, does it bring all the usings across, or does it just bring the ones it needs?
So the question is, when we do this, when we move it to the file with the matching name, it's only going to bring in the usings that are necessary. So actually, none of these had any usings that were necessary. But if we did, yeah, it should show you exactly what usings it's bringing as well. Okay. What else did I have on here? Oh, so say, I'm back in here, and I actually want to, if the distance is 1, I want it to say mile, and otherwise it should be miles. We can do this thing. So again, I'm going to do add braces in here, come inside, make some units, and the humanizer package is something like vocabularies, default, pluralize, and it would be mile. And let's see. So we would do if distance is 1, make it mile, otherwise this stuff. Okay, so if I do this, then you'll notice that I have a red squiggle here. If I look into it, it's telling me that it's recognizing that this type is on NuGet, but you don't actually have this NuGet package installed. So it's saying, hey, we recognize this is a type that's commonly used. Let's find and install it for you and add the using that you need to now qualify this. And so if I do that, internet. Well, this is a real bummer. But anyways, you can do that. Cancel. Okay. Oh, Visual Studio does not like bad internet. Okay, good to know. Was there anything else I missed? Oh, there was that add parameter, but we already saw that. Oh, if I misspelled, now everything's frozen. If you misspell something, so say vocabularies was misspelled, like we inverted 2 characters or things like that, we also have a spell check, like a smart spell check to fix that for you. Oh, we're stuck installing. Also, like, look, we give you status updates down here. But yeah, no cancel. Okay.
How do you invoke the spell check?
To invoke the spell check, so if you misspell a type or something, it's control dot, and it should say spell check or change like whatever string to the correct spelling one. I wish I could have showed that, but sorry.
Do you have namespace refactoring yet?
So the question is, do we have a namespace refactoring one? So can you make your namespace match your folder name and keep them in sync? So we have it so you can keep a type and a file in sync, but we don't have the namespace and folder one yet. But it's on like the top of our list. So here are the quick fixes that people use the most. Here are resources. So if you were intrigued by that code style stuff I was talking about, I wrote documentation for it. I have documentation for most of the refactorings and quick fixes. It's slightly out of date, but I'm working on it. And then if you want that hotkeys extension that I was talking about before, if you're coming from IntelliJ or other editors like that, you can get that there. Sorry, I'm over time, but I'm going to the booth in the expo hall for languages and frameworks right after this, so you can find me there. Thank you all.